and looking for that dopamine rush. And it is often to fill a void, and that stems from something much deeper inside us, and that's the concept of being afraid to be alone. Hi, sweet angels. Tonight, I really felt called to speak about a topic that has been bugging me. It has groped my mind, and it is that why you should be single at least once in your life. And it's for the serial daters that are watching this video. So let's begin with a cup of tea because we cannot do without it. Tonight I have turmeric spiced, caffeine free. This is not sponsored, by the way. I'm the popular girl tonight because I'm getting a lot of messages from my family for writing something outrageous on my newsletter. And it's about why you should not put up with low quality inferior men with inferiority complex, because you're going to get yourself into a mess as a woman. So try to weed out the guys who have an inferiority complex with you. In our fast-paced world, many of us find ourselves jumping from one relationship to another, one job to another, always trying to look for something new, something different, unique, looking for new experiences in the shortest span possible, and looking for that dopamine rush. And it is often to fill a void, and that stems from something much deeper inside us, and that's the concept of being afraid to be alone. It's not uncommon to feel uneasy about being alone. Society often tells us that happiness comes from being with someone, and it is always external. It's always outside of you. Happiness is always outside of you, and they use terminology like where is your better half and stuff like that, as if the better half is like a part of you. It's supposed to complete you. And especially it is used especially for women, because in a way to show them that they do not have a place in society if they're not married, which is obviously not true. When we move on from one relationship to another without taking a pause, we miss out on the opportunity to know ourselves. That could have been time where we could have, taken a step back and seen our life in like a bird's eye view. Like, what did we do? What went wrong? What could we do better next time in terms of relationship? Or we could just see, like, what do we like in life in general? What do we really want? Moving from one person to another, a relationship to another, is out of mere convenience. It's not that you actually, it's the person that you're going to find next is not going to be your ideal person. And that is because to find your ideal person, whoever it is, whatever characteristics and qualities they may have, you have to be at the same vibration with them. And because you are the kind of person who's switching from one relationship to another far too quickly, you're also going to meet somebody like that who will see you as a mere convenience and want to be with you in that way, not because they really want to be with you. Okay, there are exceptions to the rule. I'm not saying that. Sometimes you have your destiny and serendipity playing a major role, but those are just exceptions. Another thing is that we might not realize, but this constant need of always having somebody in our life is a sign that we don't fully trust ourselves to be able to find joy and contentment within ourselves. And it's pretty sad actually, because if you don't know yourself, how are you, on what basis are you trying to judge the other person? Do you even have a parameter to judge who you are going to date? Imagine living a life where you can't bear a moment of silence with your own thoughts, where you can't sit alone and let your mind talk, where you always need somebody to validate your feelings and emotions and your existence. And I think that sounds quite exhausting. But the reality is that there's power in staying alone and embracing solitude. You haven't been brought on this earth by a mere coincidence. There's a reason you're here. Being single allows you to embark on a journey of self discovery, and it gives you the space and time to understand what you really want, find your strengths and your weaknesses, and you learn to enjoy your own company, and you learn to be, in peace with silence, and to trust yourself fully. And once you are ready and you feel whole and complete within yourself, you will meet somebody, on a similar wavelength. And all their qualities and characteristics, they'll be an add on to the relationship. It will be a more balanced relationship because you don't need to count on them for completing you. I think that should be the prerequisite to any long term commitment or marriage, because in that way, your spouse is not forced to be your parent, and that's what will make the relationship blossom in the future. Another question is, how can you give your best to someone if you don't even know what your best is? And how can you expect to grow with someone if you've never grown on your own? One common theme that I am observing these days is that people are growing apart because they have different growth rates in their lives. So, one person in the relationship is growing as a person at a much higher rate than the other person, which causes a difference in their vibration. Personally, I think that your partner deserves to know if you've done your inner work, because nobody in their right mind wants a codependent relationship. It gets really toxic. Taking time to be single is like giving yourself the gift of self awareness. You'll discover new hobbies, passions, and dreams, and you'll rely on your intuition and strength, and you'll come closer to God or source of energy, whatever you believe in. And most importantly, you will be more comfortable with who you are without needing any validation or anybody else to complete you. So if you find yourself constantly seeking the next relationship, try to take a step back and realize that it is just the new distraction. There's nothing new. Once the honeymoon phase dries out, you are going to be in search for someone else to fill in that void for you. But every time you're alone at night and you're with yourself, you'll realize that all these distractions that have built up over time, they have taken you away from you, like you away from the conscious you that is inside. And there's nothing sadder than that. You feel empty. You feel like someone's taking your soul out of you. Imagine what it would be like to give yourself just one chance to be alone and to experience life at your own terms. Embrace the silence, the solitude, and the self discovery that comes with it. Trust me, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You're gonna meet your soul family, your soul tribe, your spouse, or whoever you want in your life. But it's better that they are the ones that you've chosen and not something that universe has thrown at you and you've picked out randomly.